How do I love me? Hmm. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Dr. Gary Chapman's 5 love languages and what they can tell us. Hello, friends. Today, as I said, we're going to talk about the 5 love languages covered by Dr. Gary Chapman in his book entitled 5 Love Languages: The Secret of Love That Lasts. And in this book, he talks about ways that we can love ourselves, but also love other people. It's so important when we're asking people to love us that we know how we need to best be loved. So I'm going to go through all 5 and then kind of talk through them a little bit. So the first one, or one of them, are words of affirmation. And then you have acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Again, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Now, before I go on, all 5 of these are important to any relationship. So don't hear through this that only 1 or 2 are important for each person. We all somewhat desire all of these to an extent, but there are some for different people that have a little more effective than others. So the first one, the words of affirmation, that is when you are telling someone you did a great job, you are wonderful, I love you. They need to hear things like I love you, I love you, I love you all the time. Like one of my best friend, his love language is affirmation, words of affirmation. So that really, I can do all these other things, but if I don't affirm him through my words and through other ways, then he does not receive love as effectively as I say I would. So words of affirmation, speaking well, saying someone, telling them that, oh, you look nice today, or telling them how their hair looks tonight today, or just giving them words of appreciation. You are a wonderful woman. You are a wonderful man. And that means a lot to them. That makes them feel love deep down inside. So you have words of affirmation. Then you have acts of service. Acts of service are when you're actually doing things for someone else. Like, for instance, if I need to wash the dishes and you come to my house and you say, oh, well, I'm going to wash the dishes for you. Or if I have my car and I need gas and you just take my car and go get gas for me. Or if I need to tie my shoe and then you reach down and tie my shoe. Those are acts of service. So these things can make a person feel love. And for me, acts of service is actually my second top love language. So that's an important one for me. I don't necessarily need a lot of words of affirmation, or tell you don't have to tell me I love you all the time, but just saying or doing something, your actions for me speaks louder than your words. So you have words of affirmation, you have acts of service, and then you have receiving gifts. And receiving gifts, it's like what it says, receiving gifts. You are taking, or someone's giving you gifts, and then through those gifts you feel loved. Now, in previous relationships, I've had a lot of people that friendships, relationships where they love to give me gifts. Now, I appreciate those gifts, and I still have some of those gifts, but that didn't say I love you to me. So you can give me gifts, and I'm thankful for them. You can buy me all these things, but for me, it's just another gift. It's just something else. It's not as important to me. But for me, we're going to get to what's most important to me. But for me, that's not as important. So we have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, and then quality time. Now, this is my big one, quality time. So for me, when you say, I love you, okay, thank you, I love you too. But if you say I love you, but we're never spending time together, if we're never hanging out, if we're never chilling together, whatever the vernacular you want to use, then that doesn't make me feel loved. And I even had those times where I've told people that I need to hang out with them, I need to spend time with them, and it doesn't happen. So eventually, for me, the relationships begin to fizzle out because I don't feel loved, and that's one way that I communicate with my friendships and relationships that makes me feel loved, makes me feel connected. So if we're not spending that quality time together, then for me, I don't really feel that measure of love. And the final one is physical touch. So you like to hug, you like to cuddle, you like to kiss, or what have you. And again, to say that all of these are important to relationships, friendships, and I use the term relationships loosely. I'm not When I say relationships, I'm not necessarily talking about intimate relationships or physical relationships with a husband and wife or what have you like that. But I'm talking about just in general relationships, that these are important in different relationships. However, for me, for instance, quality time means the most. So, like I said earlier, if we are not spending time together, then I don't feel loved. But the funny thing is, we normally tend to love people the way we want to be loved instead of the way that they want to be loved. Now, my parents are going to kill me, but I'm going to use this example because it's the first one comes to mind. So, for instance, my dad, he would always give my mom flowers and roses and cake for anniversaries, birthdays, and stuff. Now, I love cake because I'm a sweets person. I'm my father's child, and he loves cake. My mom, not so much. She doesn't necessarily love cake, but my dad was loving her the way possibly that he wants to be loved, or the way that he thought that she wanted to be loved. But then I had my mom do this, the 5 love languages, which I will talk to you about, and I put a link to the description about how you can take the questionnaire and find out what your love language is. But she did this, and for her, quality time is also important. I think she had acts of service. I don't remember what the other one was that she had, but quality time, spending time together, was important for her. So you can give her these gifts, and that's all important, all good, and she can receive them and be thankful for them. But if you're not spending time with her, if you're not being around her, hanging around her, doing things with her, then she doesn't feel that love. That's the same with me. So it's important as we go along to realize the way that we need to be loved as individuals, as people, so that we can express to others the way that we need to be loved. But then it's also important to find out how the other person needs to be loved. Because when we do that, then we can be on the same playing field, and I can know that I'm getting the buck for my bang, as they say. I'm actually doing something that is making you feel loved. Like, for instance, I'm thinking I'm putting my money in the bank of your heart, and I'm sowing all these in the bank of your heart, but then in reality, I'm just sowing my seeds into the ground or under the mattress or somewhere, and it's not being effective. And I'm spend all this time toiling and trying to see, why isn't this working? Well, it's not working because that's not the way that you receive love. That's not the way you feel love. So I will put a link to Dr. Chapman's free assessment, 5 love languages, so you can find out how you feel loved, and you can also go into more detail than I've gone here and see what it is that makes you feel loved, and he goes into greater detail. So that's all that we have for today. How do you feel loved? And again, those are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And all of those are so important. It's so important to know those when you are going through within any relationship, friendship, or what have you, so that you can feel loved and so the other person can feel loved. As we leave today, I again encourage you, as I do try to do at the end of every episode. This is my 4th episode now, and I try to encourage you to, if you like it, to push that like button, and also you can push that notification button at the bottom. That it's a bell shape that you can push that, so whenever I upload something new, you'll be the first one to hear about that notification that I've uploaded it. And then you can comment below about if this is encouraging to you, even if it's not encouraging to you, and you have some type of feedback. Let's be nice, but offer me some feedback, and so let's do that. So like, comment, and again, share if you like this content and you think and know in particularly that there's somebody in your circle of friends, people, family, that this content can benefit, share it with them. And then also subscribe so that I can know that you like this content and that you are a part of this tribe, which I think I'm going to talk about tribes next episode. So until then, see you later.